Honestly, I don't know if I really did it in high school too much. I don't know. Coach Bluter watched me a lot in high school, so maybe she can comment too. That's a shot I go and practice all the time. Like when I'm in the gym working on my game and getting shots up, like I'm shooting shots from back there. It's not like I just get in the game and just start launching and they somehow go in.
What's going on, y'all? I want to talk to y'all about the biggest thing in college basketball, male or female, the greatest player in women's college basketball history. Yes, I've said the greatest, Caitlin Clark. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the other people who I do think are in that discussion, but I do think that Caitlin may have the nod as the greatest women's college basketball player ever. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe if you're new to this so you can check out all the content I'm dropping on here and on my social media channels. Now, Caitlin Clark. If you didn't know, now you know. She is the #1 leading scorer, not just in women's college basketball, but all D1 college basketball, men or women. She passed Pistol Pete Maravich last week, whose record was 3,667 points. That record has been held since 1970. She just broke a record that's been held for 54 years. Now, I know a couple people want to be like, oh, Pistol Pete did it in 30 less games. Bruh, she broke a record that's been held for 54 years, bro. Ain't nobody in men's D1 break that record either. You know what I'm saying? So we giving her due. We're giving her due. She was out there getting buckets for 4 years. You feel me? She was out there doing her thing. So I'm just do a quick breakdown. You remember that scene from Coach Carter where Worm was like,
Yell out my number, sir.
I'm gonna yell out her stats. Now bear with me. It's kind of a long list. These are some of her accomplishments since she's been playing for the Iowa Hawkeyes. She's been Collegiate Woman Athlete of the Year, National Player of the Year, this is one of the reasons why I say I think I got to give her the nod over some of the other all-time great women's college players. She led Iowa to its first ever national championship game. Now we know they lost to LSU and Angel Reese, but she took a team that historically hasn't been dominant. Like if you think about some of the other all-time greats, if you think about some of the other all-time greats we consider, Taurasi, she went to UConn. Stewart, she went to UConn. Candace Parker, she went to Tennessee. These are powerhouses in women's basketball that have been dominant for years. You know what I mean? She took a team in the Iowa Hawkeyes that were, I don't want to say irrelevant, but definitely not anything considered to be making championship runs. And she's turned them into a top contending team year after year. You know what I mean? Like single handedly turning that franchise into a contender that we view. So that's something you got to factor in. She's the 2022-2023 unanimous Big Ten Player of the Year. She's the all-time three-point leader in the Big Ten. And, of course, she has her amazing Nike deal, NIL Nike deal in college. I'm sure you guys have seen the graphic. If not, I'm going to put it in here. It was never a long shot. Dope campaign. Definitely dope campaign. So, yeah, man, I think Caitlin Clark is exactly what the WNBA needs. Shout out Kai. You guys have seen Kai. He's been on the pod. He mentioned something one time to me about the WNBA needing a superstar. And I know McCants on Gil's Arena touched on it too about how there aren't necessarily a lot of women in the WNBA that can score in these super high numbers. I think Caitlin Clark could potentially be that. And it's not just that she could potentially be a high scorer. She's a great player overall. She's bringing that box office type mentality to the league. She's going to be kind of like Ionesca shooting those deep threes. She's going to bring a flair and an excitement to the game while already having a following coming from college that a lot of the top players in the WNBA, a lot of the Asia Wilsons, the Kelsey Plums, even Brianna Stewart, they didn't have as big of a marketing push behind them already coming into the league as Caitlin Clark will. And I think that that's going to be good for the league overall. As you've seen, the Indiana Fever have the #1 overall draft pick. They're obviously going to draft Caitlin Clark. The prices for their tickets have already doubled. She's box office already for the league, and she hasn't even stepped foot on the WNBA court. That can only elevate the league. That's only going to help the league get more popular. So she could potentially be that superstar that the WNBA needs. And she has the game to match. She has the playmaking. She plays defense, 6'2". She has a good size for her point guard position, can score in an exciting manner. As far as her being like the greatest player in women's college basketball, I know that's controversial for some people. I also feel like you got to give it to her just on her impact and what she's done for the sport. Like she's made women's college basketball more popular than it's ever been. Like last year, the championship game, and of course that's also in tow to Angel Reese as well. It was more watched than the men's championship championship game. It's one of the most watched games in women's basketball history. You know what I mean? And that's due in part to the brand and the aura that surrounds Caitlin Clark and her ability. So I do think that you kind of have to give her that nod just because of what she's done for women in that area. You know what I mean? In that space. She does need to, hopefully, if she wins one this year, I think that would definitely settle all talks if she was able to win a championship. But like I said, the Candace Parkers, the Diana Taurasi's, if you're going way back, Cheryl Miller, that's Reggie Miller's sister. These people, like, they've won 2-3 championships. You know what I mean? They were more successful as a team. But like I said, I feel like that's because they were part of pipelines. Cheryl Miller played for USC, I believe. They're part of pipelines that were great teams and have been great teams for decades. Caitlin Clark took a no-name type franchise, D1 franchise, and made them a household name, made herself a household name, and elevated the entire NCAA women's basketball. So that's why I say she's the GOAT. I think of college basketball, and I definitely think that she's going to be great for the women's game and helping continue to build the brand. Thank you for watching another episode of The Last Word. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below so you're not missing out on any of the new content I drop on the channel. Love.